Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. You can see I've got two stacks here. Right here are cards that I have recently received off of eBay. Gonna go through those to, try and grade and sell some of those. And then this stack here, cards I picked up at my LCS. So I do have an LCS by me now. Didn't in college, but I do now where I live. So I'm going to be trying to go there, a little bit, get to know the guy that owns the shop and, try to build a relationship there. So we'll start off with the eBay stuff. We've got Reed Sheppard green. This is my speculation play for basketball, or green Reed Sheppard prisms. So pretty nice looking one there. Haven't really looked at that close. I will be later, but pretty happy with the price on those. You can get them for about $5, and if they look clean enough, I'll send them off and try to grade them. Next up, we've got a Kyle Filipowski. This is his silver prism. So nice card there on the silver prism. Filipowski, tape's not peeling off. This was a couple bucks. To me, he's got the right build and I don't want to say skill set, but he's definitely got the potential to be, the new star of the NBA, where you've got good size but can also shoot. So I'd like to see his game translate to the NBA. And being on the Jazz, they've got Lauri Markkanen, but they don't have a big name player, and they're a great team. So we'll see what happens with him. This one here, Ohtani Topps Chrome. We'll take this one out. We'll give it a quick glance over. I've looked at it briefly. There's a couple minor things, but you can see it seems like it's just like fingerprints and stuff that I believe I could wipe off that card pretty easily. There is a minor scratch or something right there, but I think that I could, take care of that. And if not, that would be the most major flaw. There is a little bit of this on that back corner, so we'll take a look at it closer. Obviously, if it's not worth grading, it's not worth grading, but, always worth checking it out and seeing if I can. Milan Momcilovic, he is now a junior at Iowa State. I have been on him since his freshman year. I haven't really bought much of his stuff, but I've always, known him, and I think he's a really, really, really good college player. Known him since his freshman year. He hit a fadeaway baseline jump shot, kind of like Dirk used to do against the University of Houston to beat them. Big University of Houston fan. So got his first Bowman Chrome Auto. I think this was somewhere in the $10 to $20 range, but I think he's a really good player. Iowa State, in my opinion, one of the top 5 teams in the country this year. I think pretty clearly, in my opinion, Arizona, Michigan, Iowa State, Duke are the big 4 right now. I think you can throw in Houston come March with their freshmen, and Purdue's got Braden Smith. I think they'll be good. One of the top teams, Iowa State. Here's a nice PC card. Like I said, University of Houston, Jarris Walker. This is his Big Kahuna auto, numbered to 150. He doesn't do much for his auto, but still a nice card. Case hit auto right there. We'll take that nice PC card. One of these days I'll get to the background and, replace the Hank Aaron and all those guys. I've got a decent amount of PC cards that are nice for backgrounds of videos and I can do themes with. So we'll get there eventually, but we'll add that to the PC. Here's a nice card to grade. 2019 Topps Chrome, Aaron Judge, Pink Refractor. Comes from the spreadsheet I've been building for myself, where I just go through the gem rates of cards and, the raw versus PSA 10 price. There's a little scratch there. We'll see what happens. Use that to determine if it's profitable to buy those cards raw and then grade them based off percentages. And it's been pretty good so far in terms of, getting good clean copies raw, sent off a decent amount. This isn't one that's on the spreadsheet, but any Ohtani card that shines, pretty much any Ohtani card, you can see right down here there's a dot, so that's not going to be good. But again, if you buy his cards for under $5, you can throw them up for $10 raw and they can sell. It's Ohtani, so not really concerned about buying those cards. Here's another nice one that is good. I think it's like a $20 raw card on average, and $150 or so in a PSA 10 is the Victor Wembanyama Topps Chrome from Cosmic 2023. I don't know why I put the top load over there. But yeah, this is like a 60% gem rate card. Seeing a little bit of a print line or something running down there, but nothing too bad. So again, we'll just be looking through all these cards. I know not all of them are going to grade, but it's always worth a shot. And then this one's look clean. Legends in the Making Ohtani, 35 or 40 bucks raw. 150 to 200 in a 10. So nice card there. And then here is a bulk lot that I got from Top Notch Sports Club. So I don't know if I've ever bought from them before, but they combined shipping and all that. So a lot of these cards I was able to get $1. I'll say what price I got these cards at. So Qui-Gon Jinn, Star Wars Chrome Sapphire, $1. This SpongeBob Sapphire card, $1. I think the SpongeBob Sapphire set, the price of boxes has gone astronomical. So I think the actual set itself may hold some value long term. We'll see. Hendon Hooker, this was like somewhere in the $5 to $8 range for his auto. Mrs. Puff was $1. Don't know who you are. This is a great card for me to send to ComC. Bought it for $1, numbered to 50. Bought this for $1 too. Sapphire, green refractor, numbered to 99. Not exactly sure who she is, but send it to ComC. This DeAndre Hunter, numbered to 88. $1 as well. Amari Bailey, $1 too. Daniel Jones, he's hurt, but numbered to 50 for $3. ComC, probably put that up for 10. Zach Veen auto for $4.25, I believe, is what I got it out. Solid price there. Stafford jersey from Absolute for $8. Player worn, not game worn, so a little not as cool, but at least it was player worn. Some of the stuff coming out of Panini now, and I'll show you one that I got from the store that's just a PC card, but they say they don't guarantee it to be player worn or game worn or something like that. Something crazy. I need it for $1, an auto for $1 too, and then this Woody card probably somewhere in like the $6 range, I'd imagine is what I got at. This one I might consider grading, but Topps Chrome. I prefer Pixar, but some of the Disney stuff's all right too. Just it's collectible. A bunch of kids, like I grew up, I watched Pixar movies, a lot of women and stuff watched Disney a lot, with the princesses. So it's a wider market than sports cards in my opinion. So if I can get stuff cheaper, I'm going to start trying to go into that. I like Woody. I love Toy Story. Cars is my favorite movie. I bought some cards that are Cars for my PC. So don't mind delving into that a little bit. And then here, this was what I got from my local card shop. So 87 Rickey Henderson, not great looking card, but this was $1. Could I get it somewhere else cheap? You're not going to get it for cheaper than $1 off eBay. Here's some other 87s that I got as a throw-in. 87 and 72 Topps are my favorite vintage sets. I say vintage in parentheses because people will consider 87 not to be vintage. They think it needs to be the 1980 Topps set and before or something, or 79 and before. But in a couple years from now, this 87 card, it's going to be 40 years old. To me, that's something that's vintage. And then the rest of these here, Paul O'Neill on-card auto, really nice looking autograph, not great card condition, but it's not a card that most people are going to have an autograph on. So I like buying something unique like that. Just a really clean auto there. This one here is nice. So a couple of cards like these, Tony Gwynn, legendary game uniforms. The thing that's nice on the back of these is that it's a game used uniform, right? So he wore this during a game. So game used uniform, game used bat. SP's got a lot of nice stuff. Barry Larkin with the red pinstripe. This is a authentic game used jersey. So stuff like that's just really cool. They don't make a lot of game used stuff anymore. Game used Alex Rodriguez. Granted, it's just, the white tablecloth or whatever you want to call it, but it's game used. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Here's a game used jersey, Andre Dawson, nice solid blue from when he was on the Cubs. And then here's what I'm talking about. So this is the modern example, PC for the Kansas City Chiefs, Xavier Worthy. I could have gotten this a little cheaper off eBay, but when you're trying to build a relationship, I don't mind paying a couple dollars more. A lot of these other cards I like getting, I think I got them for about $9 each on average, which might be a little high, but this is the type of stuff that I think long term will hold value still. A game used Barry Larkin jersey is, I mean, they aren't going to make any more of those ever. I think that holds value. This, though, it's just PC. The enclosed authentic memorabilia is not from any specific game or event, right? So, this, a lot of the statements that they used to make would say that it's, player worn. They'd say it's specifically player worn. I don't see anywhere on this card that says it's at least player worn. It's just telling you that they don't guarantee it from anything. So probably not player worn, but Xavier Worthy, their first round draft pick a couple years ago, jersey. I'm fine buying that. It's okay. And then here's the nice card. I'd like to do this, maybe once a month when I go there. So take some of the money and profit that I'm able to make from selling the cards that I grade and stuff and put it into vintage or into a vintage player that long-term value will hold, in my opinion. Not all vintage cards are going to hold value long-term. People might not care about players of the caliber of Paul O'Neill. Granted, his auto Yankees uniform, that helps out a lot, but he's not a Hall of Famer. I looked it up. He's like a 38 career WAR guy, so a good player. But he's not a Hall of Famer, and even some of the other Hall of Famers people might not be as big on. But bought this 68 Topps Mantle card. Now, granted, did I pay a little bit more than maybe people would recommend with the two creases? Yeah, but not by that much more. I mean, if you take away the creases, they're there, but it's a pretty good looking card. It's fairly centered. The corners don't look atrocious. Its color looks pretty good. Not that people are going to care about the back as much, but the back looks good. There's not any stains or parts missing. So, a PSA 1, I think, recently sold for like $170, and a PSA 2 sells in like the $230 range. So my guess on this is a 1 or a 2. I got a 3.5 on this Bob Gibson, and it's got a crease through it. So this one with 2, I think this is like a 1.5. Depending on the grader, a grader might give it a 2 just because, it's better centered than that. So that helps. So yeah, if this gets a PSA 2, it's worth $230, right? And it costs $25 to submit a card, and I paid just over $200 for this card. So all in, I'm into it at PSA 2 value, which is fair. So I don't think I overpaid for this. A lot of people would say, oh, I'm not going to pay any more than $175 for this card or $150 because a PSA 1 got that. Well, it's a mantle. It's a later year mantle, but it's a vintage mantle. And the eye appeal looks good. I could tell that there was a little wrinkling looking at it. I just looked at it through the top layer they had at the store. But I mean, when you're looking at this, even in the light, like the wrinkles don't show horrible, right? Like it's not like there's a bend, like that someone folded the card in half going through the whole card. It's a wrinkle there, or a crease there and a crease there, and that's it. And the color looks good. So $210, I think, is what I paid for it. We're gonna get graded. That's gonna be $235 all in. That's the value of a PSA 2. If I were to buy a PSA 2 off of eBay for $235, there would then be shipping and tax. So yeah, I'm into this at a very fair price, and I think this is a card that 20, 30 years from now, 40 years from now is over $1,000 in the great condition it's going to receive. So I think it's a good investment. But that's enough talking for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave comments that you have down below in the comment section. Would love to hear what you guys think, especially about this mantle purchase. Did I overpay? Like I said, to some of you guys, I probably did. To myself, I think that is a very fair price. It's a card shop. He's trying to make his money. I physically saw the card. Knowing what they have in there, I don't have to worry about it not being authentic. So stuff like that. I bought it in person. I think paying fair market price is a very good job by myself there. But yeah, eBay store is linked down below in the description, as well as my COMC store. And as always, thank you for watching. 2K for life. Peace.